About a year ago, I walked past here on a beautiful sunny morning, and I thought to myself, I'd love to swim in that water. But I looked into why we can't swim in the water. What would it take for us to be able to swim in the water? And where else do people swim in the harbours in their cities? That thought led into a long adventure involving setting up a group called Swim Bristol Harbour. A bit of conflict with the harbour master, loads of media attention, and something that comes up time and time again is about the water quality in the harbour. But what most people don't realise is that Bristol City Council do regular water quality testing throughout the entire docks area. I've looked at this data, and every single time they do a test, the water quality for Cumberland Basin comes back between good and excellent by DEFRA bathing water standards. Now, the most exciting bit, an adventure to a beautiful city where they swim in their harbour called Copenhagen. Let's go. We are at Bristol Airport. We're going to leave this great city and head off to Copenhagen in Denmark, where we're going to learn all about the swimming in their harbour. We looked around at what else was going on in Europe and found that the Danish have made it so they can swim in their harbour. As a result of that, it's a major tourist destination. It's a really inclusive pastime for people. And also the water's become a lot cleaner because people, when they're swimming in water, they don't accept unhealthy water. So the city's got behind making the harbour one of the cleanest in Europe. Who am I to be telling this story? Well, I believe strongly that access to wild swimming spots is an antidote to a lot of the issues we have in our society. We know that swimming's really good exercise, so great for our physical health, but also there's massive mental health benefits. In a wild swimming community, people are really connected, they share ideas, and it helps combat loneliness as well. We've only been here for a few minutes, and then we find these things right next to a pretty average looking car park. They've got these huge barrel saunas. It's a big wooden barrel sitting on a basic concrete slab overlooking their harbour. And if you come around the side here, you can see there's this huge glass window at the end. Imagine that, going for a swim in that water, then coming and sitting in here with your mates early in the morning. Or imagine down Cumberland Basin, early morning cold water swim in the sauna. What a great way to wake up. What do you think? Could we have these down by Cumberland Basin? This makes you feel a bit bad about Bristol. Look what the Danish have got. Their own beach, water the kids can swim in, and a diving board in the distance. This is just amazing. I've been standing here for a few minutes watching people jump off the diving board, a lot of people swimming. The water's really clear, the access is amazing, and they have all these change booths everywhere around here. It's a really, really nice feeling here, super friendly. I would love to have something like this in Cumberland Basin. And now I'm going to go and try out their diving board up there. Let's go. You ready? Brilliant.
My name is Mads. I'm from Copenhagen. This is a quite iconic, famous swimming spot in Copenhagen.
What do you think the benefits of having a place like this so close to the city are?
It makes me feel like I live in the city, but I also live at the beach, you know? Like we can walk to the beach from home. By bike it's like 5 minutes. So I'm just as well like living at the sea as I'm living in the big city. So I think this is quite unique. When it's summer and you can go here, it gives it that holiday vibe, you know? So that you're not just caught in this like rush of a big city, but you can go and relax and have a totally different energy when you come back home.
My name is Carl and I'm from Denmark, here in Copenhagen. I was having fun with my friends because we're just having a good time out and bathing here in the nice Danish waters.
And if you didn't have this place to go swimming, what things might you be doing right now instead?
If I wasn't swimming here, then I would probably be playing video games and drinking alcohol.
We've just found the first harbour swimming spot in Copenhagen. This feels a lot like Bristol Harbour. There's boats, there's some green spaces, and it's quite a busy city centre location. This particular swimming spot is a giant floating barge, and I want to go down there now and see how they've made it and also meet the lifeguards and see how it works for them. Let's go.
So my name is Philip. I am currently working as a supervisor in the Trygfonden Lifeguard.
So how do you know when the water's unsafe to swim in?
Copenhagen as a city, they check it every day.
Every day? You test for E. coli?
Yeah,
What
it's
else?
very rarely we have E. coli. Even when they deem it not safe to swim, it is safe to swim, but we take it as such a serious matter that you always are on the safe side. So the second there's a yellow and red flag, it's safe to swim. You shouldn't question it because they really focus on it.
So with allowing swimming in the harbour, does that mean that people will go and do stupid things like go swimming when they're drunk or late at night, or are people overall safer because they're allowed to swim?
If people are allowed to swim or not allowed to swim, I don't think that's the difference, because drunk people can still fall in the harbour whether you're allowed to swim or not. Most of our job is actually about informing people about water safety, and one of our big pillars is you shouldn't swim when you're drunk.
And do you think because you allow swimming here, you get more impact with your education? Do people listen more because of
I
this?
would definitely think so, because it's allowed. They trust what we say about water safety. That's actually most of what we do. Of course, we're trained in rescuing people, but a lot of the job goes around informing people how you should react if you fall in the water, how you should avoid it, and so on.
So by allowing swimming, you actually get the chance to educate people more on how to swim safely.
I would say so, yeah.
And not swimming, you don't get that chance, so presumably
It
it's
would be
less safe.
very counterintuitive, like teaching people about the safety of swimming when you're not allowed to swim.
My name is Maria and I'm a lifeguard.
What if there were no lifeguards here? Do you think people might get injured ever?
I think there wouldn't be as many people here because people trust us and they bring their kids here to play, and they're like, okay, like they're looking after the kids, but we're also looking, so they feel safe about it, so yeah.
I just met some really interesting lifeguards and they've told me some fascinating things. Firstly, by allowing swimming in their harbour, they've actually made water safety standards much higher. The reason for that is that they're engaged with the swimming community so people can learn about how to be safe in the water. By having lifeguards, that enables more people to feel safe around the water, which means more people get to use the swimming facilities. And the most interesting thing is this platform I'm sitting on. It's actually a giant floating pontoon. It moves up and down as the water moves. They've also got nets underneath here, so there's no risk of someone falling through and getting stuck underneath. And they even have some shallow baths where children can go and play, all in the same space, all in their harbour. This is a fantastic example of the kind of thing we could do in Bristol Harbour.
Ryan Little.
My name is Mogens Refeldt, and I'm a Danish retired air traffic controller who is enjoying the life in general, and I'm coming here every morning all year round to have a swim. It's both the feeling of getting into the water every day and the social part of it. Every time we get down here, there's something new about the nature, the weather, the atmosphere, and it's a very good experience.
This is a big one, and I've seen this down at Clevedon Marine Lake, Weston-super-Mare, Whalley Weir and Conham. People like this guy, building amazing communities that give their life richness and colour and make their lives better. That's what we need to see more of in Bristol Harbour. Day 2 in Copenhagen, and I just went for an amazing run around the harbour. And as I was going past this beach, I found this thing. It's a solar-powered water quality meter. It has green lights and red lights to tell us if the water was clean enough today, yesterday or the day before to go swimming. On the other side it has a red flashing light to let you know if the water's unsafe. I think having this in Cumberland Basin would be amazing to let us know if it's safe to go swimming or not.
Well, the harbour used to be, especially here, it used to be really industrial. There were chemical plants, ships were coming in and out, and it was just generally filthy. You know, Copenhagen had a really industrial past. Then it all closed. There was also an explosion in the factory here. It all closed, they turned it into this green area. I also know there was a lot of sewage water
that they collected, that they just threw out into the harbour. That all stopped. Underground now there are some basins, I think that's what it's called in English, some big containers that take the sewage water if the sewage system is overflowed, and then it transports it away from the harbour.
This thing is fantastic. It's a floating swimming pool. It's an octagonal pontoon, and in the middle there's nets on the side and the bottom, which means people can jump in and not go underneath and get sucked out into the harbour. The reason I like this one in particular though, is because if you have a harbour with tides and the alleged vessels that move around, people can safely swim inside this and not be affected by those external factors. Now imagine this in our harbour, tied to the edge with a platform going across to the dockside. This could work really, really well for us, and it could be one of the easy entry points to starting our program of swimming in the harbour. This is a lot like Cumberland Basin because there's no ramped access. The height difference between the lock side and the water is significant, and the way they've made that work is by using these step ladder things here. They're quite steep, but they have deep steps. And for Copenhagen, this is sufficient for people to safely get into and out of the water. That boat there is a lot bigger than the boats that we get in Bristol Harbour, yet the Danish have made swimming right next to it okay. And the way they've done that is using these lane marker booms around the edge here to separate between where the boats are and where the people swim. That's exactly the kind of thing we could be doing in our harbour, especially in Cumberland Basin.
My name is Claire Griffith. I'm here to take my post-work swim, as I do almost every day after work.
You've got a comparison there. What's life here with water around you swimming every day like compared to the other life you used to lead?
I mean, I think for me, the water it's like the moment of the day where I get to clear my head and just kind of like let go of whatever I'm carrying around.
We've been to a few different swimming spots around the city. Why do you choose this one?
One, I love the architecture, and usually, I mean, you're here on a pretty dead day, but usually there's a whole range of people sitting on the stairs, and you can actually slide down this curved thing and people are jumping off it. Sometimes there's slack lines. So there's a lot of life that happens, and I really enjoy that.
People of Bristol.
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 Go and swim, it's very nice, and change something.
You should go swimming in your harbours because it's a lot of fun. You can be in the middle of the city and just strip down, have some fun. It's great.
Really just respect your harbour. Don't throw trash in, don't throw sewage water in it.
If it's clean enough, actually, you should allow swimming, but you should also hire lifeguards and educate people about the safety and the hazard about swimming.
It's like a fun activity to do all around the year.
You should make it possible for you to swim in your harbour.
I think your harbour can be one of your kind of major assets or resources of your city, but only if you make it be so. And I think it's not just you making it be so, but pushing for change in whatever channels are necessary in order to really reach the potential of this amazing space that you have.
If you have a harbour that could be swimmable, make it clean and make it swimmable.
I've spent a couple of days in Copenhagen, and what a great city. Since I've been here, I've learned about how the Danish have overcome the same challenges that we have in Bristol. Boat movements, very simple. Lane marker booms that separate where people can swim and where the boats can go. Water quality, daily testing, and communicate that to the water users so they can decide for themselves if they choose to swim on that day or not. Fixing overall water quality. We need to stop allowing any raw sewage to go into our rivers, and we need to allow more flow through our harbour to wash away any dirt that there might be. Getting into and out of the water, really important. There's lots of ways of doing that. These steep steps are fantastic, and so are semi-floated pontoons. The big one, water safety. It's become really clear that by allowing people to use the water, they become more safe in the water. In addition to that, it means that the authorities have a voice where they can promote better water safety and a high level of respect for the water, which then reduces the incidents and fatalities in the water. Swimming in the water will make it safer for everyone. Then there's the people benefit. I've met some amazing people here, and it's clear to me that being able to swim in their harbour brings them together, gives them a great recreational activity, and makes them healthier, happier, and more socially connected. I would love to see that happen in my city. If you support this campaign, please put pressure on your local councillor. Support the movement, and if you're lucky enough to be in a position of authority where you can make things happen, just consider how great this can be for our city and how it can benefit our children and our grandchildren. And then maybe one day the Danish will come and visit us in Bristol. Actually, I've got a plan. What we need to do is take our first step. So we're speaking from a place of experience and knowledge. And here's the plan. Sunday morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. We have a lane marker from the edge of the basin down to the far end. That means we remove the risk of any kind of boat collision with swimmers. We have a tie along the side of the basin, so if someone gets into trouble, they can grab onto it. We also have 3 ladders from the basin edge into the water, so you can get out at various points along here. We also have anti-slip measures on the steps going down, and every single swimmer has to be able to swim 100 meters unassisted and swim with a tow float. And for that period, we have a lifeguard on duty. That's a really good starting point and the best way to start this conversation moving forward to a point where there's regular swimming in the harbour all the time. In fact, I'm going to go for a swim right now. See you soon.